Okay, so this is part 2 of indirect measurements of heart function. And so we're going to talk about EKGs on the board. So we're trying to do this quickly so we can get these uploaded so that you can see these pretty fast. And so here we go. So we did this in lab before a break. I did EKGs on you. And of course the EKG, electrocardiograph, is what that stands for. And so I had a physiograph, which was a specialized program to run this on my computer. And then I had the leads. And so when you say leads, I did a 3-lead system, but there are 7 lead systems, there are 12 lead systems. And so these leads are essentially the electrical wires. They're copper wires in here, just like that it's in the wall to electrical sockets. So anyway, electrical wires are in here, and they hook to an electrode pad with an adhesive on it to stick it to your skin, and then there has to be a piece of metal that's going to attach to this copper wire, right, to the copper wire. So it can pick up the heartbeat and the electricity generated by the heart contractions. Exactly. So anyway, so then I'll put them on you, and then once you were hooked up in lab, then it produced a heartbeat. And so a heartbeat is called an EKG waveform right here. And so this is one heartbeat right here. And what do these electrical impulses stand for, right in this drawing? So first of all, I color-coded it. So the first little bump we get is the P wave, called the P wave. And so that means the right and left atria are contracting. They're contracting and opening the valve and pushing the blood down to the ventricles. So the P wave is right and left atrial contractions, and the real electrical term for contractions is depolarization or depolarizing. So then once you got the blood down in the ventricles, now you got to squeeze it out to the lungs or to all parts of the body. And so then the QRS happens. This waveform right here, the QRS, basically is called the QRS complex, because this is where the right and left ventricles totally contract, and they push the blood out to the lungs and then to all parts of the body. So that is right and left ventricular depolarization right there. And then after you've pushed that blood out, then the ventricles open up and relax so they can get more blood from the atria coming down shortly, within a couple milliseconds. So basically the T wave is when the right and left ventricles open up, relax, and so the real electrical term for relaxation is called repolarization, repolarize. So I always say it's like R&R, get it? Rest and relax. And so that's why you know that. Also, when you look at a waveform like this, you always want to notice the T wave should be twice the size of the P wave. And why is that? Because the ventricles are way larger than basically the atria. So the atria have to relax, and everybody goes, well, where's the little waveform, the electrical waveform, for when the atria, when they contract, they have to open up again to get more blood. Well, when they relax is during the QRS event, the big smashing of the ventricles, and so you can't even record it. You don't even see it in a normal waveform, because this takes so much electrical activity that basically it buries when the little atria open up and relax. So it is there, but we just can't record it. So this is one heartbeat right here. And so basically it will go on, and normal heart rate is 60 to 80 beats per minute when you're resting as an adult. And so little kids have faster heart rates, older people can have slower, of course. It's age dependent. And so what are the things that we're going to check on an EKG? One of the first things you always want to check is, does it have all the waveforms in it? As it continues on, does it have them all, okay? And that's the first thing we check. Then we want to look at how high are the waves. And so remember in lab, I said some of you were stressed because you didn't have an S wave, there was no S wave. You had the good QR, but you had no S wave. And so that means you don't have maximum push power from your ventricles because you're stressed. Maybe this class is doing that, I don't know. But anyway, so we want to always look at the height. Also, we want to know the height of the wave, the pace of it, how fast it's going, and then are there any spaces so between these waveforms? Is it sort of like spaced out? Things like that. And then another thing, if you ever have, like on the R wave right here, if I take the R wave and I make it flat like this, instead of like a sharp one, there should be like this. And so if I make it flat right here, that means you've got valve problems, you've got leaky valves. And so leaky valves are known as heart murmurs also. And so, so basically I want to check to make sure that you don't have a wide peak up there, or even this one could be flat, very flat looking like this, and that means basically you got valve problems, right? Any of those can have those, the P, the R, and the T. All right, so and then other things we really want to notice is that some of you had some extra heartbeats, and so some of you had, like, here is the P wave, and then all of a sudden you had another little one right here, or you can have another one little right there. And so basically, when you have little ones that go like dot dot, and so dot dot, right around the P wave, those are called premature atrial contractions. Premature, because they're not big ones, they're just like little stutter steps. And so those are extra little heartbeats, little heart waves right there. And so those are called a PAC. A PAC right there, and a PAC. So those are little extra ones, all right? And then if you have an extra one here, right here, or right here, they're going to be called, because this is a ventricle event and this is a ventricle event. And so basically if you have one here or one here, one here or here on either side, then these are called PVCs. PVCs. And so PVC is a premature ventricular contraction. And so another name for both of these, the ventricle or the atrial premature contractions, is irregular heartbeats. That's the common term that the doctor says, oh, you got irregular heartbeats, because you got the extra little beats here on either side of the contractions. So anyway, then now most doctors will not get too excited if you're throwing some PVCs or PACs unless they get much larger. And so if you start having PVCs that go like this, oh my gosh, you are going to feel like your heart's going to jump out of your thoracic cavity. Basically, you're going to really feel those heavy heart pounding contractions. So most of the times they're going to say, oh, it's probably due to something. And so what are the most common causes of PVCs and PACs? Caffeine, high caffeine, absolutely will make your heart race and give you some extra heartbeats. Food allergies, big time food allergies. You might not even know you're allergic to something, but I know there are some things that I am allergic to, and if I eat too much garlic, my heart starts going crazy, right, and wild, and I feel the blah, 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 and then it'll calm down after it's already gone through my digestive system. Drugs, whether they're illegal or legal, those can cause you. Allergy pills are famous for giving you irregular heartbeats. And then low magnesium levels, low mag, basically are just general low calcium or potassium. Those will give you irregular heartbeats, or even sodium chloride. You've got low sodium, will give you irregular heartbeats. So the PVCs and the PACs. And then low thyroid hormones, either hypo or hyper. Too much of them or too little. Hypo is too little of T3 and 4, and hyper is way too much. And man, that can make your heart race and give you some extra beats. So anyway, but doctors are not too excited about those until they get the size of the P wave or the R wave or the T wave. And then they're going to get a little excited, right? So now there's also some other terms right here. And so beats per minute, 60 to 80 in a normal adult. And then we have these three terms, tachycardia. So if somebody says, oh, I'm tachy, that means your heart is beating over 100 beats per minute at a resting rate. Not exercising, because exercising, you need to get it over 100 beats to start losing the fat, warm up the body, make the blood vessels open up and dilate. And then bradycardia, Brady means slow heartbeat. So that's anything under 60 beats per minute. Now there's a lot of long distance runners, marathoners that have bradycardia, but that's because they've trained their tunica media, used to be the muscularis in the blood vessels, to open up as soon as they start running. Oh my gosh, there's no resistance, and they know, uh-oh, he's exercising or she's exercising. Let's open up because we're gonna go for a ride now. And so basically, it's no big deal. A lot of your marathoners and good runners, they have heart rates in the 50s, low 50s, right? So anyway, and then the last term is fibrillation. So basically, if you have a heartbeat, and it's going along like this, okay? And then all of a sudden, here it comes, and then it goes like this, up and down, up and down, up and down. That's fibrillation. That means you're stuck in the QRS. You're stuck in the QRS, and you are having a mild or severe heart attack. Exactly, cardiac infarct. And so when you're stuck in that, then you need to either get a defibrillator and get a big shock to get it unstuck, or you're gonna have to get a big shot of magnesium, and then maybe that will help, or they'll put a syringe full of epinephrine into your heart pump wall, and maybe that will overcome the electrical imbalance right there. So this means your heart is like going into tetanus. It's just locked down, lockjaw, and now you gotta get it to relax somehow. So anyway, that's why they use the defibrillators real quick, like if you have one, basically that big shock will then try to overcome and break the bonds of all the salts so it will relax, right? So anyway, so that's a little bit about doing EKGs, and of course we did those in lab, and they came out pretty well. And so also there's more information on this third page about EKGs, the equipments. All this material is pretty much covered on the sheet. And then there's a couple terms at the bottom for you students that will become nurses. There's two terms they use a lot in nursing. It's called CO, cardiac output, and stroke volume, the SV. And so cardiac output, I've got the definitions, and you will learn this, of course, in nursing. It's the amount of blood pushed out into the aorta from the left ventricle only. They're interested in how much oxygenated blood you're getting out to all parts of the body. So that's cardiac output. All they're worried about is the left side of your heart. That's it. And then stroke volume is how much blood is coming out of the right and left side in one heartbeat. And so it's total volume, right? So that's sort of fun from both ventricles, exactly. So those are the only two terms I didn't really put on the board. So now we only have one thing left to explain, and this is the last indirect method of measuring heart function, and that's going to be blood pressure, and that will be in part 3 of this series.